I was gonna say, speaking of that, so one of the criticisms you've received in bringing this lawsuit, because you're saying, you're out here, you're trying to survive, you don't wish any ill will about them. One of the criticisms is people believe that you did this to try and extract a whole bunch of money out of these people, to try and destroy them, try and ruin them, or whatever. That sort of thing. Can you speak to that a little bit?
I sure can. I'm going to share something with you guys from the mediation, the court-ordered mediation. In case you don't know how court these kind of things work, the judge may instruct or order that the parties come together with a third-party mediator to try to work out the differences, try to come to an agreement so it doesn't have to move forward.
Right.
And the judge in our case ordered a mediation. So me and my attorney and them and their attorneys and Funimation, their attorneys, came into this building one day, and we were all in separate rooms, and there was this one guy who would go back and forth with the messages. This is what we're asking for, and this is what they're willing to do. This is what they've agreed to. This is what they've refused to do. Most people, I would think, most of you probably think that because I lost so much money in convention appearances at all the largest conventions that I was scheduled to be at when the Broly movie premiered, which, by the way, has grossed 3 times more than any other Dragon Ball movie ever. And you would assume, right? Common sense. I mean, it's common sense. If you lose all that and all of your regular jobs, if you're going to sue someone, it's for damages, and you want monetary reparation, right? And damages.
Right. And those are, to be clear about one thing, though, those are alleged as part of the suit, but that's how you bring a lawsuit. You have to allege damages, because if it goes to the judge or a jury for a decision, that's what the court has the power to do.
Right.
But mediation is supposed to find alternative ways to resolve a dispute if possible.
Right. And so we went back and forth with what we requested and what they refused and sent back. And this is what I want you guys to hear. If you thought that I was in this to get money from people, our last offer to Funimation, our final offer to Funimation was just take the tweet down. No money. No money. Just take the tweet down and promise or sign whatever that you're not going to interfere with my ability to just work or find work. And they refused. This could have all been settled a long time ago. That was all we asked. Just take the tweet down. And Nick, I don't know if you've told your audience this or not, but in their own filings, in Funimation's own filings that are public record, under oath, they said that their post was not intended to imply in any way that I had done something wrong.
Yep.
Then why not take the tweet down? They wouldn't. They said in their own filings that they never meant to imply that, but they refused to take the tweet down, and that was the only thing that we asked. We didn't ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The last thing we asked for before the mediation ended was, just please take the tweet down and leave me alone. Like, don't interfere with my ability to make a living. And they refused.
And just so people are familiar with the timeline here, this is sometime like September of 2019 that the mediation occurred. I remember because if I remember right, the mediation occurred while I was still at HawaiiCon, which I think was September of 2019. So what I want to get out of that is them taking the tweet down, the damage was already done.
Yeah.
It's not like that was going to suddenly erase everything. It was literally just, hey, maybe just leave me alone and don't mess with me, type thing. And it's not, I mean, it's baffling to me that decision, now that you mention especially that there was no money involved, is absolutely baffling to me. Because, I don't know the details of the mediation. I had suspected that there is at least some desire for compensation from Funimation because they're the party with the deepest pockets. They're owned by Sony at this time that this is going on. So it's reasonable to request.
And not only that, Nick, but there were a lot of events that I was scheduled at.
Right.
And most of them wouldn't really, pay a great deal of mind to a handful of, hateful fans on Twitter, but they will pay attention to Funimation.
Right.
So the fact that Funimation refused to do what they had already acknowledged in their filings, was very, very damaging.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's always bothered me. Funimation has maintained this idea that they don't have any control or influence over voice actors' livelihoods outside of just the shows, but they
You're kidding me.
They really do. I mean, they have the ability to keep people away from conventions if they want to.
They have the ability not to cast you.
Right.
How about that one?
Yeah.
How about that one? If a studio, let's take Funimation out of it. If studio anime doesn't like the fact that you did this thing, well, all they need to do is tell people don't cast that person anymore.
Right.
And you may even never even know that happened because it happened behind closed doors in the corporate secret meetings to decide, who we're going to work with and who we're not going to work with and who we appreciate and who we don't like and whatever for whatever reason.
Well, and because
then you say they don't have any power, that's insanity.
Well, and the way they structure their contracts actually allows them to contract with a voice actor without ever casting them. I mean, they have a general agreement that says if we cast you in a show, you'll show up and you'll perform at this rate for this, this amount of time for this many episodes or whatever. And then you get like a little supplemental agreement for the show. And that's that. But if they don't want to cast you again, the contract can just run and they could just say, yeah,
sure.
We don't have any roles right now.
New York State. Yeah. I mean, in fact, you can hire somebody and then fire them, and you don't have to give any particular reason, but you sure aren't allowed to slander them. And,
right.
And I want to say something else real quick, going back to the friendship thing, Nick.
Yeah, this is your time.
I want to say this about Funimation. I loved Funimation. Those people there, especially, there were a couple in particular that I loved. I would have done anything for. I considered very, very close friends some of the people that worked there, and all of the work that I did, all of the promotion that I did for the work that I did for them. I loved being a part of them. In fact, some of you may or may not know, I directed a show for Funimation called Junie Tyson. I was still living in LA, and I flew back to Dallas and lived in a hotel in an extended stay for 12 weeks to direct this show. And the show was very well received, and everybody that worked on the production team was very pleased with my work. And it was understood that I was going to move back to Dallas, and some of them on I'm not going to name their names, but some of the people on staff that were in a position to make such decisions were asking me if I wanted a salary position or if I just wanted to be a contracted director. So when I moved back to Dallas in December of 2018, the Broly movie was about to come out. I I had directed for Funimation. I was playing 10 or 12 recurring roles for them, and I purposefully bought a place that was 10 minutes from Funimation because I was expecting to be able to work there more. And literally 2 weeks after I moved to Dallas in mid-January, this started, and none of that ever came about.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved Funimation. I told their attorney, I'm such a sap. I told their attorney that I loved it. I think it's even in the deposition. I think you watched the depositions. I think I even said that. Remember what I said a few minutes ago about naively thinking that people are your friends?
Right.
I thought that Funimation appreciated me for my work and for my enthusiasm for them and promotion of them, and a lot of the people that worked there I really, really liked, and it was really, really heartbreaking to me to when this all happened.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Unlike you, I don't have any friends, so no one can ever turn on me and betray me. But it's a nice insulating thing. But no, I kid. What you may not know about me is I use levity and comedy to break tension and stuff like that. That's who I am. It's who I've always been.
Yeah.
Sometimes gets me in trouble. But
No, I should try it. I'm not very good at that, I don't think. But
yeah, why don't you try growing some comedy organs? Seriously. I've been meaning to talk to you about it.
thank you for that.
Why don't